So my mother had me learn to read from the Bible, earning a penny for every word I sounded out. And I have to ask my mother again how long it took, but she said I was like extremely dedicated. I completely blew her away. I would just sit there and sound the words out, and next thing you know, I was actually reading. Um, and she was just so astounded by how hard I worked, and I think I had earned like whatever percentage of the money, and she was just like went and bought me the doll. I think she actually bought me two dolls. She was just so happy. And so anyway, so I did learn to read out of the Word of God, and I'm going a little bit off on tangents because some of these things are like revelations too that I feel like the Lord has brought to me recently. One of them being the prayers of my grandmother, um, my namesake. I'm her namesake, however that phrase goes. Just, I guess, really realizing in the recent weeks the true power of prayer. I never fully comprehended, but I know that my grandma prayed for me profusely, and yeah, it just, she passed away when I was 7 or just turning 7, and she was really concerned about me. She was diagnosed with brain cancer, and or maybe it was lung cancer. It had metastasized all over, including into her brain. And she knew that she was going to lose her mind, and she knew she was going to die. And she was just like really intentional about the time that she was spending with me, speaking with me. And she started calling me on the phone. I'm old enough. We had like the old school phones, like rotary phones, and she would call me at my mom's every night, and she would make me repeat the Lord's Prayer. So that was one thing she was like very adamant about before she passed away, that I would know the Lord's Prayer by heart. And she did. She accomplished that goal. And some years later, obviously years after she had passed away, when I was in my early teen years, my aunt, my mom's older sister, who ended up helping raise me, she told me that when my grandma was dying, my grandpa, he didn't want her to leave the long-term care center or wherever she was at. He didn't want to lose her. But she just kept saying home, 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 and she wouldn't stop. And so, and I do recall that. I remember her just saying home, home. She just wouldn't stop saying that. Home, home. Even if she couldn't make a sound, she would just mouth it over and over and over. And so they finally had made arrangements for her to go home, and they had a hospital bed for her there. And in her last moments, my aunt was the one who was there with her at her bedside when she passed. And what my aunt had shared with me was that in her last moments, she just grabbed my aunt's hand, and she just kept saying like my name. Which I just thank her for her prayers for me, because she prayed for me as on her deathbed, and I think she went with the Lord. I believe in my heart that she went with the Lord, and her prayer on her way out was for me, and my aunt just promised her that she would take care of me, which my aunt did keep her promise. So yeah, that is